My name is Jamie Dunsdon. I am the director of Keyano Theatre's production of Clue.
My name is Athena Bishop, and I am playing Mrs. Peacock.
I'm Bailey Yarkey, and I'm playing Mrs. White.
I've been directing for about, 20 years, mostly in Calgary and Southern Alberta, and so I was invited to come up here to direct this, which is my first show at Keyano, and it's just been an absolute treat. I love the genre of mystery theater. I've directed some mystery shows back in Calgary, things like Misery, which was done at Keyano here as well. I directed a production in Calgary, and I've done some other murder mysteries, as well as I used to run a theater company in Calgary called Verb Theater, and I still run a theater company called Calgary Young People's Theater. So that's the bulk of what I do. It's not my first time in Fort McMurray. I was brought out here in, maybe a decade ago to come direct I was working at one of the schools, I think K.A. Clark, maybe, with a residency group that came in to work at that school. So I've been to Fort McMurray before, but this is my first time at Keyano. I was very pleasantly surprised when I got here to see what a robust arts community it has. Like it's really dynamic, and it's got a very strong community of really talented actors and theater makers. And of course, when I walked into the theater for the first time, I was absolutely blown away by the beautiful resource in the city. It's a fantastic theater that is on a sort of national scale of a venue. So I was really delighted to see all the tools we have to work with here. It's so hard to talk about murder mysteries. This is a murder mystery farce, and a farce is a sort of a comedy version of that. So it's been such fun to direct it. You know, it's been a silly room, and I think that's my favorite part, is working with these wonderful actors and creating something just delightful and full of laughs. But it is really hard to talk about without spoiling things. I think what people can look forward to is, some nostalgia. If you've ever played the Clue board game, you'll recognize some of the tropes of the game inside the show. But if you've never played it, it's just a good old comedy murder mystery. So the play version of Clue is adapted from the film version of Clue, which is adapted from the board game. And of course, like in a board game, every time you play, there might be a different murderer in that version of the game. And the movie plays homage to that in a very special way, which fans of the film will know. And so does the play. It similarly allows for some flexibility in terms of who is this murderer. What's tricky about that for our team is that we have to make sure it's possible for any of our 6 suspects, plus others, to be the murderer. We have to make it possible for anyone to have done it, while also choosing that this person did do it, which is the challenging part of directing it, but that's what makes it so much fun, and it makes it a real playful set of parameters to work within. Yeah, I mean, one of the wonderful things about playing the board game Clue is that you can play it again and again, and you get a different experience each time. And I actually think that's true of the play as well. If you come multiple times, you will see clues that maybe you didn't see the first time, because now you know who did it. So now you will have you'll have a little insight into what was happening in that moment, or what was that little exchange about? Oh, now I know. So this is a play that definitely rewards multiple viewings.
I think I draw for sure through myself. I gravitate towards really quirky characters, and so that's what inspired me for how I'm portraying Mrs. Peacock. She is a very quirky character, and I really enjoy that. It allows me to be silly when in life we are not quite that silly.
It's kind of, it really kind of comes in a nice flow, because they're both so like heavily relying on timing, and the show is like 100% timing. So like those switches from mystery to comedy are like like on a dime switches. So it's almost like a little bit of like choreography in those switches. And they're both like a ton of fun. They're both genres I really have wanted to try for a while. And it's been really fun to kind of, you know, two birds with one stone. So I've had a great time. Maybe Courtney Munn is very like, Scarlett is so like on it and like trying to figure stuff out. And I think that's very Courtney Munn of like, no, I want to know what's happening right now actually. So that's who I would say probably.
I agree. Actually, she came to mind as well. I feel like she's the only one in the show that tends to always know, or at least has a good idea where we are.
What's going on.
And she's always like asking questions, and it does fall into line with the character of Miss Scarlett. Yeah.
I did play Clue, and I lost. I did not do very good. I forgot how to play the game. I actually played recently as well, and I lost again, because I'm not very good at the game. But I love board games. I love playing board games. On the same way, I get really competitive when I play board games. I especially love like those like social deduction games, like Werewolf and things like that. People don't like to play with me with those kinds of games, because I'm like self-brag, pretty good at them.
Yeah, when I was offered to direct this play, which was only a couple months ago now, I instantly thought, I got to play the board game Clue. I played it when I was a kid a lot, but hadn't played it since then. And I played both I bought an old version of the game as well as the new version of the game, which are slightly different. And I played them, and it's so great to see that game still holds up. It's a real blast. I'm a big board game fan, so I'm really into a wide variety of games. I play Settlers of Catan. I play oh gosh, there's so many. Shoot, it's so hard to think on the spot about what board games you play. All of which is to say, I'm a board games fan, and this is a real treat for a board games fan, because it honors that tradition.
So I didn't, but that being said, we are avid Clue players, and I play with my kids, and they know that I don't take it easy. So I tend to win. But I feel like because of that, we all play lots of games. I think my favorite right now is I love Battleship for my kids, because they really enjoy that, and it's like much more one-on-one with an individual. And I really like Mastermind, so those would be me. What I have been telling everybody, including like I was saying, like my nail person and like anyone like a taxi driver, is that even though I'm cast in the show, if I wasn't, the cast is so well casted. And the set is amazing. We have an amazing crew, an amazing director, that I feel like the show can't fail. Like, I feel like it's going to be so amazing that if you miss it, you've missed something amazing. So please come see it.
So we really hope everybody comes out to see it. Clue opens on October 6th, and it runs for a couple of weekends, so come on out and see it. It's a really, really fun production, and I think it's a great show for the time of year.
You're gonna have a good time. It's Thanksgiving. Maybe that's cool, maybe you're not into that, but you know what you will be into? Clue, so come see it.